Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. I am working remotely today, so sorry you can't see my face for this video and my expression on it, but I wanted to give you guys a quick insight video into Commander Michael Burnham. So stick around, hit the like button, smash the subscribe for me, and let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back. So, we have finally got a chance to see some photos of Commander Michael Burnham. Now I gotta say, my initial gut reaction was, this doesn't look all that different from the prototypes that we saw. And I thought that we were going to see at least some marked improvement on some of the head sculpts. Maybe this one wasn't included, which is fair, because I do have some things that I really like about this figure immediately. And there's some things that just are a bit of a buzzkill, I'm not gonna lie. A little bit of a detraction from my desire to actually want to own this figure in my collection. Now, first of all, I think when it comes to Star Trek figures, we all know there are a lot of Star Trek franchises available to us, and EXO-6 is planning on making them all. I've said in other videos, my plan is to really stick to Star Trek The Next Generation figures, for the most part. There will definitely be some exceptions there, because some of the Voyager figures are standing out to me, and maybe some of the original series as well, some of the mainstays. But Discovery is a Star Trek show that, for me, I did not connect with very well at all. There were parts of the first and second season that I liked quite a bit, don't get me wrong. But on a whole, I don't feel like Star Trek Discovery does it for me. Don't let my opinion change your mind, because if you love that show, you might very well love this figure. And there's a lot of good here. Let's take a look at the uniform first. Uniform, in my opinion, is bang on from what I'm seeing from these promo images. The detailing on the jacket, the detailing on the pants, this figure comes with, I'm not kidding, 11 hand sculpts, including the Vulcan neck pinch, including a live long and prosper hand. There's a lot of cool stuff, and 11 hand sculpts? That's a lot of hands. The tailoring of the outfit does look like it's better than my first contact data that I have. Don't get me wrong, I love that figure. But I do find that the wrist pegs on that figure really expose when you articulate the arms. The outfit here, while the tailoring is really tight to the body, which I like a lot, I think that looks really scene accurate. In some of the poses that we're getting to see in these images, I'm also not seeing those wrist pegs, or there's some good camera trickery there, but it gives me some faith and some hope that it will maintain that level of realism for the character in your display. Because anytime I see a wrist peg or a ankle joint or some of those types of things, it does take me out of it a little bit. So let's get into the head sculpt then, because that's kind of my first, I don't want to say negative, but it's the first thing that I'm not loving about this figure. The likeness, I think, is good. The actress, Sonequa Martin Green, is a beautiful person and a very iconic actress at this point, and I think she plays the character of Michael Burnham amazingly. Even though I don't love the show, I've always thought her character arc was interesting. I thought she was a likable character. She's definitely a likable actress. So there's a lot of good for her. I think this head sculpt is about a 7.5 out of 10 for me, in terms of what I envision her to look like when I look at side-by-side photos. For the price point of this figure, I actually still think that that is a very passable likeness. Now, I know that the price point on this figure is increasing. So we're seeing a $215 price with shipping, of being a flat rate of $25, similar to what we've seen with the other figures. I think that that's still an extremely fair price, even though that's still an increase from some of the previous releases. Nanjin the developer here has told us very specifically that the Star Trek Discovery line is going to have more detail in the accessories, such as the weapons. We get a chance to see that there are aspects of the weapons that are actually interchangeable and that they move. There is a magazine type piece that goes into the phaser. I think that's really cool. But going back to that head sculpt, the likeness just isn't totally there for me. What do you guys think? I think the other issue that I have is the neck seam line. Because she's a female character, she has a very slender neckline. And I'm a little bit worried that that seam or that neckline where the head sculpt meets the neck is so visible that it detracts from the realness of the figure. I think if they were able to sculpt the neck piece in with this head sculpt so that it was a seamless piece, it would amp up the realness factor for this character, at least in my collection. There are other female characters and other characters just in general that EXO-6 are planning to release that I plan to 100% buy, honestly, despite the neck seam. 7 of 9 is one of them. I know that Benjamin Sisko also has that line, although I find with Benjamin it looks a little bit more covered up, or just a little easier to hide. I think on the slender bodies of the female characters and the slender neckline, it just looks a little chunky on the neck. So what are your thoughts on that? Is that a deal breaker for you or not really? Keep in mind, this might be the only 1/6 scale version of Michael Burnham we ever get. Does that mean you should buy it? No. But it's still a really, really good representation. And a 7.5 seems very critical in terms of the likeness. But I give it to you guys because I want it to be an honest review. I mean, even with me not being a Discovery fan, some of the other figures that are being announced from this line, like Saru, that Saru looks so good. Like, bang on. And so, what irks me a little bit is that I might not pick up certain figures, but then want others. Is that an irk? Maybe. Hard to say. But let's just quickly get back to the figure because there are a few other really cool things that we should just kind of quickly address when looking at these photos. We do get a chance to see that she comes with a belt that holds the phaser as well as the tricorder, and some of those things that aren't magnetized to the figure like we've seen with some of the other figures. But that's okay. That's part of this costuming, right? We do get a chance to see that she comes with a hexagonal base that looks like a transporter pad. I think that also looks pretty cool. This figure is coming with an autograph card, so for anybody who gets to go to a con, who wants to maybe try and get the actress's signature and not have to mark up your box or your figure itself, those autograph cards are really, really cool inclusions. So I think that that's just really collector mindset. I do think that some of the equipment, like I said, is really, really good. So taking another quick look at it, the Type 2 hand phaser. This phaser can be worn in the holster that comes on the belt, so that's pretty neat. And the phaser magnetically attaches to the hand grip, so it can be removed, which is also pretty cool. The tricorder, it's just a standard tricorder from what I can tell, but it does have a removable medical scanner and can be worn in the holster on the belt, which is also really nice. The phaser rifle, so as used on Star Trek Discovery, with a flip-up front hand grip and extendable stock. So that is cool, because the phaser rifle that I saw with my data was just molded plastic. It did not move at all. So again, there's a little bit of extra innovation going into this figure, helping to justify the slightly higher price. And of course the communicator. That communicator looks bang on. I love it. I think the details on it look really, really wicked. So I'm really happy with the accessories that this figure comes with. I really am happy with the suit and the way it looks. I think the tailoring is really on point. I think that the details are excellent. The only other thing that detracts from my affection of this figure is the fact that the boots are not split cut boot design, that you do get just a molded boot piece. I'm a little bit worried that even though Star Trek is not the craziest posing that you'd want to do necessarily with some of your figures, it's no Spider-Man. The fact that the boots don't roll at the ankles a little bit, and have a little more flexibility makes a figure look really, really stiff in your collection. It just does. The figures that I have, like my CW Flash from So-So Toys, has a molded boot, and I mean, that's a running figure, and it never looks like it's truly running. He's always kind of walking on the sides of his feet, and nobody walks that way. And so again, it detracts from the realness of the character a little bit. If those are my only two gripes though, the head sculpt is still a little bit soft with that kind of unsightly neckline, and the boots are molded plastic. Everything else about this figure I think is amazing. And again, if you guys are 1/6 scale EXO-6 collectors, and specifically if you're just a Star Trek collector, if you're a mad Trekkie like I am, even the figures that you don't necessarily want to buy, you can definitely appreciate, and that's kind of where I'm sitting on this one. If I had to give this figure a rating out of 10, I would actually still give this an 8.5 out of 10. And I do hope that this line doesn't flop, because I don't want it to impact other releases either. That's not to say I think you should buy this one to keep them supported, because they're smart business people. I think that they know what they're doing, or I hope that they do. But there are a lot of Star Trek fans out there that don't love Discovery. I'd be worried that if they flop on this figure because people do pass it up, that it will impact sales, and that sucks, because these guys are still pouring their heart and soul into these figures. And so I think if we can appropriately keep them informed and about what we like and about what we dislike and maybe what we hope for in the future, that those slow price increases over time, because we know we're going to see them, will become more palatable. And let's be honest, I can still get 2 amazing EXO-6 figures for the price of sometimes 1 Hot Toys. And I know that they're different levels of quality, and I know that Hot Toys is a kingpin in the market, but I am excited to see Star Trek slowly become kingpins themselves. So I will give a bravo to EXO-6 on this release. Good job. I like the figure. For everybody who's getting the figure, let me know in the comments below what you guys like about it. If you don't love this figure, also let me know down below. No negativity, please, but just, I want to hear what you guys feel is on point, or what may hope to be improved in future figure releases for EXO-6. But if you like this video, guys, hit the like button. A big portion of my viewer count doesn't subscribe, so please subscribe if you can. Smash it. It makes a difference. And we will catch you guys on the next EXO-6 video. Thanks for watching.